Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Confirmed COVID-19 cases in Nigeria rise to 184, with the NCDC announcing 10 more cases today, as 11 more patients are discharged from the infectious disease hospital in Lagos. Federal government seeks support of indigenous manufacturers in the production and supply of critical equipment needed to effectively tackle COVID-19. President Buhari directs payment of workers' salaries as he receives committee's briefing on the economic impact of COVID-19, insists on protection of the poor and vulnerable. And global confirmed COVID-19 cases hit over 1 million as Spain's death toll climbs to over 10,000 and that of the US exceeds 5,000. Plus, we'll have business, sports, news from Abuja, the FCT, and later international news from our London studios. Our website, channelstv.com, has more information on our top stories and others. Do subscribe and watch Channels Television's live stream on YouTube and other social media platforms using your mobile device browser, or you can download the Channels TV app for Android and iOS devices from their respective stores. You can also watch us via your smart TV platforms on Apple TV, Android, Fire TV, and Roku as well. Oakland State shares boundaries with Lagos and is set to begin a 14-day lockdown from tomorrow, Friday, April the 3rd. The state currently has 4 confirmed cases of COVID-19, but it fears that there are other potential threats coming from neighboring states. While residents prepare to stay at home, they look forward to the government's relief package, which targets the poorest in the state. Our correspondent, John Mekwa, reports.
Residents of Abuja, the capital of Ogun State, are busy with preparations for the lockdown, which is to begin on Friday night. For the market women, they are not looking forward to the coming days without the intervention of the government. For the buyers, stocking up for the period has become difficult.
Gari has turned to 300 naira from 120. The last time I bought it was 120. It's now 300 naira.
But the traders say the hike in price is for a good reason.
The cheapest transportation in Nigeria is Abuja. There's one we enter 30 naira, 20 naira sometimes. But now because they are going to take 2, 3, then the money will be increased. Like this egg now, we sell it 800 before. Then before they can take all us like a crate, they will tell us we should pay 2,000. Where are we going to get the money? We have to put it on the egg. That's why now egg is 1,000.
Special advisor to the governor on communication, Remy Hassan, assures the people that to some extent, food, which is the most basic need, has been planned for.
We are setting up food banks in the 3 senatorial districts and working out a distribution template that will reach out to this poor of the poor. Using stakeholders like the various community development associations, neighborhood leaders, traditional leaders, and other stakeholders, so that only those who need this palliative get it.
Already, the state has closed its local and international borders, preparatory to the restriction of movements within the state from Friday, the 3rd of April. John Mekwa reporting for Channels Television News.
Let's cross over to Abuja now. Here's Linda Akigbe. Linda.
Hello, Ijoma. The Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has cautioned officers and men currently deployed for enforcement of the lockdown and social restriction orders to ensure that the rights of Nigerians are not infringed upon. The police officials have also been directed to accord due courtesies and unfettered access to persons on essential duties who are exempted from the restriction orders. The police chief adds that officers are expected to be professional, humane and tactful while showing utmost respect to the citizens. Meanwhile, Zonal Assistant Inspectors General of Police, AIGs, across the nation are to ensure due compliance with the standard operating procedure guiding this special task. The warning from the IGP is obviously not binding on all security officers, as a soldier has reportedly shot dead a 28-year-old man in Warri South local government area of Delta State. Police authorities in the state confirmed the killing to Channels Television, saying they have commenced an investigation into the incident. Meanwhile, the Delta State government has called for an investigation into the killing. The State Commissioner for Information says the state government has sent a delegation to condole with the family of the deceased. To discuss efforts to enforce the lockdown order in some states, I'm now being joined in the news at 10 by the Assistant Inspector General of Police Department of Operations, Austin Agbolaho. You're welcome to the news at 10.
Thank you so much.
Now, the lockdown order officially kick-started in 3 states on Monday. What is your assessment of the compliance level in the FCT and other states?
Yeah, let me quickly say the compliance is encouraging, and I think it's appropriate I re-echo the profound, appreciation of the Inspector General of Police to all Nigerians, in the compliance with this order, because the IG, like you were talking about, the directives given, it did not stop at only the directive. He also expressed his profound gratitude to all Nigerians for the compliance, as well as their voluntary compliance and cooperation with the police. Actually, the restriction order is being enforced by the police and some other law enforcement agents. Like I said earlier, I think in those 3 states where the federal government has announced a lockdown, I think the compliance is encouraging. Day by day, I think is improving.
Does this extend to, like in the case of the FCT, to the satellite towns in the FCT?
I think it covers everywhere within the FCT. You are talking about the compliance.
Yes, the compliance.
For instance, like
this
evening, I, monitor the situation in Buhari, Kwali, and Gwagwalada. I think the compliance level was very high.
Okay. Now, there are allegations of human rights abuses by security operatives during enforcement, with all manner of punishment meted out to, offenders. What instructions do you have on the rules of engagement at this time?
Well, I'm happy that you are already aware of the directive of the Inspector General of Police, which has been adequately circulated to all our formations. I think, one, it takes 2 to tango. I'm not here to actually defend the conduct of any of the security agents or operatives on the field. But however, before we send men on enforcement, there is usually what we call a briefing on the conduct. And today, again, like you rightly read out, the IG has passed SOP, Standard Operating Procedure, on how men on the field, on the enforcement, should behave. Nobody actually has a right, to carry out, dehumanizing treatment, physical abuse on any of the men. But like I said, it takes 2 to tango. Obedience to instruction, to directives, to orders would have made this thing very easy. I know it's very, very difficult for a lot of people to stay indoors because it's so new to our people here, stay indoors. It's so new. But however, for the sake of the human life, I think it's better we encourage them to obey, because it's issue of life. And if one person, because if you watch the videos on all these things, if one person is infected by this COVID-19, if you see the rate at which it spreads, so it is better if by staying indoors we, protect you from this thing. I'm appealing to Nigerians that it doesn't require, the war is not with the police. The war is not with the police. The police is only to enforce that order. And once you obey the order, if everybody complied, at least looking at what happened yesterday, that market restriction too was given, for some hours, so that based on complaints that it was difficult for people to cope, especially with food items, at least a window was given. I'm sure as it progresses, there may be other ways in trying to ameliorate the pains of this. So I would just appeal to all Nigerians that the policeman you are even seeing on the street is a Nigerian like you. So he's helping to ensure that the spread is minimized. And so I want the cooperation of everyone, so that this thing can go peacefully.
All right. Thank you very much, AIG Austin Agbolaho, for joining us in the news at 10.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's all from Abuja. Back to you, Ijoma.
Thanks a lot, Linda. The Anambra State Governor, Willie Obiano, has given an update on 6 key areas the state is working on to keep COVID-19 out of the state. In a special broadcast at his country home in Aguleri in Anambra East local government area, the governor says 3 isolation centers have been set up, while the state has received results of some samples sent in for testing.
Here is an update on what has happened since my last broadcast. In Anambra State, with respect to our experts, my Commissioner for Health, Dr. Vincent Opala, has reliably informed me that at this moment in time, our dear state does not have a single record case of coronavirus. 10 samples on the whole have so far been sent to Irua, and we have received results on 6 of the samples, and they're all negative. We're also hopeful that the remaining 4 will also turn negative. We have successfully set up a 250-bedroom isolation center in the NYC Orientation Complex at Mbauku, Umawolo, and another 16-bed isolation center at the General Hospital Onitsha. By the grace of God, I shall commission both centers tomorrow. Meanwhile, we have 2 such centers at Ekulabia General Hospital and Umweri General Hospital.
And Governor Udom Emmanuel has announced a cessation of movement and a ban on all events of any nature in the state for the next 14 days. This is coming barely 24 hours after the NCDC confirmed 5 cases of COVID-19 in the state. The governor said in a broadcast that the lockdown will allow the state begin a thorough process of contact tracing to identify those who may have been exposed to 5 confirmed cases. He says there will be no more movement of persons except those on essential duties. All business premises, markets, shops, motor parks and offices, except grocery stores and pharmacies, must remain closed during the period. Governor Udom also said Akwa Ibom is well prepared for eventualities and has all facilities. The whole 13 ventilators will be tested to make sure that they are working very well, and that's according to the governor. And unlike Akwa Ibom State, the River State government says it's putting the state on lockdown as some civil servants will have to go to work, but with a warning that they should adopt necessary precautions. However, the closure of education institutions, restriction on social events, closure of borders, public facilities, worship centers are still enforced. The state government is also warning residents to be more safety and security conscious while asking the state task force to clamp down on the activities of looters. And when the news at 10 returns, oil prices jump to more than 20% as Saudi Arabia and Russia reach agreement on production cuts. That's on Business News. Join us again.